Good morning. Welcome to the third lecture of the series of lectures jointly organized by the IUCN and the Faculty of Science of the Maldives National University. Today's topic is managing manta tourism in the Maldives. And our guest lecturer is Dr. Anne-Marie Kitchen-Wheeler, the manta specialist. Dr. Kitchen has been studying mantas in the Maldives since 2001. Her research has led to the identification of 2 new species of mantas in the Maldives. So without further delay, I would like to invite Ms. Kitchen to deliver her speech.
Right, I see I have a slightly different audience to last time. So if, excuse me for those who were here last time, but I'm actually going to go over a little of the content of the last presentation to bring everyone that didn't attend last time up to speed on some of the manta ecology issues which otherwise may confuse you. So we find manta rays distributed throughout all the atolls of the Maldives, although at the moment we have very few reports of manta rays from the southern atolls, particularly Manta and Hooverdo atolls. We're not sure why this is, and I'm sure that over the next few years, as we actively target those areas for manta sightings, that we will discover more manta rays. But apart from that, we do get manta rays throughout the Maldives, and they are typically seen on the lee side to the direction of the wind. So, as you can see, I've dotted them in blue and red, the different sites where you can see them. And at the moment, we're in the northeast monsoon, so therefore we have winds coming from the northeast. And most of the places that you can see manta rays are dotted in blue, and these are down the west sides of the atolls. It's particularly on the west side of the atoll chain, but it also includes west side of even the east side chain of atolls. So that's like Bodahiti area, Kudaboli area in Falidu, etc. So it's important that we understand that there are manta rays seen on different sides of the atolls at different times of year, and this is probably caused by plankton being moved around, or plankton levels being in different parts of the Maldives depending on the wind. Okay, so as I said, we see them seasonally, so they're on one side of the atolls for one monsoon and then the other side of the atolls for the others. And when we have the changeover periods during April and May and November and December, then manta rays are very hard to find, if I'm honest, and you can find them kind of everywhere and nowhere. So you go to some places and it's like, oh, surprise, there's a manta ray, or there's a lot of manta rays feeding, and other places where you'd expect to see them, they're not there anymore. And we know that the sightings can be correlated with food presence. And like most animals, if there's lots of food present, then the animals will go to feed. And if there's no food, there's nothing to eat, so they'll go somewhere else. And that's the simple reason why they move. It's because of the food levels which change depending on the season. And we've, by observing individual mantas and where they go, we can now safely say that it's the same mantas which travel from one side of the atolls to the other. But probably the majority of mantas are atoll-based. That is, a manta which lives in, for instance, North Mali Atoll will visit sites along the east side during half of the year, and then they'll visit sites on the west side for the other half of the year. There is a little movement between atolls, and some animals do actually travel to the very far north or to the very far south, but these are quite rare. The vast majority of animals are atoll-based. There are some odd places which we're still looking into, and it will probably take several people who have PhDs in oceanography to sort this one out. But there are some odd ones out as far as there are locations which don't quite fit the model. For instance, Razdu, where the North Channel there, which is actually slightly wind-facing, but we see mantas, and particularly Mudakan down in the south in Adu Atoll. But there's probably, especially in the southern atolls, the difference is that because it's so close to the equator, that the wind effects are moderated. So you don't get the strong seasonal effect that you get in other atolls, in the central and northern atolls. At present, we believe there's a good estimate of about 6,500 manta rays distributed throughout the Maldives. Now, 6,500 is not that many animals when you think about it. That's the population, human-wise, of a fairly large Maldives town, but certainly nothing like, the population of Mali. So can you imagine, 6,500 people spread throughout the Maldives? It's not that many, is it? And these are big animals as well. And this estimate, this population estimate, is based on adults, because it's primarily adults which visit the cleaning stations, which is what I'm going to be talking about in this presentation today. And even if, as I showed in the last presentation, that we look at the upper possible estimate, we're still only looking at around 10,000 mantas in the Maldives. And just as a reminder for those of you who weren't here or were here last time, we're only looking at maybe 100,000 manta rays worldwide. So we're looking at possibly 10% of the world population of manta rays being in the Maldives. Okay, so we have a very special resource here.